Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you one of my all-time favorite Linux distributions, Lubuntu. It's going to be the final beta before release of 14.10. So without further ado, let's get onto the live CD. So we select our language here from boot, and we can try Lubuntu without installing. Something I recommend everyone to do before installing a Linux distribution, just to make sure that the distribution itself is compatible with the hardware. Now, I'm only going to be showing you the live CD today because I've actually been unable to boot from an installed version of this on my virtual machine, which is where I do all my testing. Now, this is a snapshot beta, so we can expect it to be significantly rough around the edges, but it should give us something of a reasonable demonstration of what to expect. Now, I was very impressed 6 months ago with the long-term support release of Lubuntu, so it'll be interesting to see how far they've come since then. But LXDE and Lubuntu is a reasonably reserved and conservative distribution, one of the reasons why I like it. So I'm not expecting to see any grand changes, and this is really just to make sure that they that they are as good as they always are. So what have we got here? Well, we've got the very very well-known background style wallpaper. All that kind of stuff in the old system tray there. What kind of web browser is it supporting? So this is significantly more responsive even on a virtual machine than the Unity interface. You can kind of expect that though. So it bundles with Firefox, which I think is what it was bundled with in the last distribution, which was 14.4, which I believe it used to be bundled with Chromium, but since it's become more of a mainstream distribution, it really was sensible for them to switch to Firefox, because at least Mozilla is a company that people are generally more comfortable with than Google. Now, don't get me wrong, I use a lot of Google. I'm on YouTube, for crying out loud, but I can certainly understand some of the animosity and the people sort of wanting to distance themselves wherever possible from Google, because it can seem like it's a little, it's a little of an overbearing company sometimes. So anyway, we've got the ever so standard LXDE menu. Perfect it is, because you've got accessories. Got your accessories there, and it comes with a solid bundle, like significantly more than in the standard Ubuntu, because of course LXDE being significantly smaller and this being a lot more lightweight, it's got the disk space available on its CD to actually bundle a decent amount of software with it. It's got Pigeon, it's got Transmission, which is for BitTorrent, instant messaging, that's pretty damn awesome, with XMPP, which is one of the reasons why that caught my eye was because DuckDuckGo, the search engine, actually has an instant messaging service. It's an XMPP server, which I'll probably do a video about sometime, because it's nice to have an instant messaging service that is that comes from a trusted company to actually protect your privacy. It's got graphics. It comes with, so it doesn't come with GIMP, although then again, would you really expect it on a lightweight distribution anyway? And the Office, it comes with Abbey Word and Numeric. Now, I've got to admit, I am one of those people that thinks that maybe Lubuntu could come bundled with LibreOffice, maybe. I use Lubuntu and install it on a lot of systems of friends and family of mine who want to upgrade from Windows XP, because Windows XP is of course no longer supported, but they don't really think that their computer's up to running, say, Windows 7. They don't want to buy a new machine because the hardware is working perfectly. So I often encourage them to install Lubuntu, and I have never had a problem with anyone I know who's upgraded to Lubuntu from XP. Obviously, if you're upgrading from XP, it's not really going to be a gaming machine, it's not going to be a multimedia machine, it's going to be a type of machine where Linux and Lubuntu can cover all the bases very, very easily, and people have been ecstatic about not only how easy it is to use. This is a lightweight distribution as well, so it's kind of sometimes has that stigma of maybe being a little less user friendly, but it's not. It's actually more more user friendly. It's easy because it's like Windows 95. It's like an operating system that's been used for goodness knows how long now. So we've got Abbey Word. Now, Abbey Word is a great lightweight word processor, but to be honest, these XP machines that I've installed on friends and family's computer, I installed LibreOffice over top of that, and it runs really smoothly and really quickly as well. This sort of LXDE installation could run, I'm sure it could run with Abbey Word on practically anything. So that being said, yeah, Abbey Word is more lightweight than LibreOffice. Is it really needed? I mean, it's snappy. It's off the live CD. Got a new window here. It's very, very, yeah. Save as. So it wants to save it as an ABI. So the default ABI word as well. This is one of the problems. Well, I say it's one of the minor issues I have with ABI word is that it wants to save it as an ABI word file type. Now, presumably, opens up. Yeah, it's got the open document all the way down there. No, it does. Actually, it does. That's EPUB, which I believe is the open source ebook format. That's quite neat. But it's got, I mean, it works with open office format, which is particularly important now because due to recent government legislation, the open office document type is the standard word processing document type across governmental departments, which is particularly useful because that, again, is likely to spread out to the corporate sector or the commercial sector. And also it does recognize the value that open source and OpenOffice and LibreOffice can bring. So that being said, ABI Office is an adequate bundle in it, but it's been a minor complaint of mine. I don't know. It's not even really a complaint. It's been a minor thing of mine that it would have been nice to include maybe LibreOffice or just LibreWriter, LibreCalc to do for the Office package. It's got Audacious. That's not too bad. It's got GNOME MPlayer, which I know is particularly lightweight. Again, I usually install VLC, but I know VLC, of course, I think it's Qt based if I'm not mistaken, and it's a bit bulkier, so I can understand them maybe not including that. Of course, though, future iterations of LXDE are quite likely to be Qt based, and it'd be quite interesting to see what kind of software bundle comes out of Lubuntu once that change happens. We could very well be seeing VLC be included out of the box on a Lubuntu installation. And of course, LibreOffice actually does include a lot of its own libraries for its user interface, whereas AbiWord uses the GNOME GTK 3, I'm assuming, which probably keeps the file size down. So maybe I can kind of sort of empathize with why they do it, but again, I guess I would probably opt for the kind of software that people feel more comfortable using, and that's sort of more used more widely. But that's just me. You've got the file manager here, the same old PCMan FM. I'm not super fussy on my file managers. I mean, they could use PCFM, they could use Thunar or Thunar. They probably don't want to use anything more heavier than that. And like I say, I like the snappiness. I like the fact that you can just, and this is on a live CD on a virtual machine. So if it's as snappy as that, and again, you've got change desktops, quick launch. We nailed down our user interface over 10 years ago. Like well over 10 years ago. we pretty much nailed it down in 1995 for so 20 years ago really, like that's fine. So I actually mentioned in my run through of Ubuntu the same sort of version but on with the Unity interface, is that even though this looks like it's quite a mouse driven interface, which is fine, people know how to use a mouse is straightforward, mouse is easy, it's very fast, it's very straightforward. What you can of course do is press Alt and F2 and it gives you a command. You can just type in Firefox. It even fills in the rest for you. Bang! So if you want to just use the keyboard, so Alt F2, AbiWord, bang, perfect, speedy. Man, they got it down. They got it down. Perfect. I won't lie about that. That's perfect. Again, to be honest, the only real problems that Lubuntu has are tied to Ubuntu, tied upstream. I would honestly like to have seen, say, this kind of effort, this kind of operating system come out of Mint. I'd like to see a Linux Mint LXDE edition. You could have Cinnamon and the LXDE edition. That's the only two versions of Mint that you would really ever need. Maybe a KDE version for the KDE fans out there. I know how they like their Qt libraries, but ultimately, this is fast. It's user friendly. You can use your keyboard. You can use your mouse. I mean, it's like Start, Graphics, Internet, Office. It's fast, it's straightforward. You know, what more do you want out of it? Oh, there is one minor bug, easily changeable. In fact, a lot of you guys, I'm sure, in the comment section below will say that I'm basically making up stuff to complain about, and I'm literally like trying to find negative things because I kind of want to give some kind of balance to this. I don't want it to be what is effectively a Lubuntu commercial. But the one problem that I have found is that this off button here is not in an ideal place. And I'll give you a bit of an example. If I open up any program, it can be actually maybe... Right, let's crack open Mozilla Firefox. And let's go to Distro Watch. Okay, this is any example. It works, you know, it kind of applies on just about any program. I kind of got a lot going on in the background, so it's stifling my internet connection right about now. Okay, so we've got here your good old Distro Watch, right? Oh, it's asking us to install Flash. No, thank you. No Flash for me. Okay, so anyway, right, what you've got here is a lot of the time when there are actually this is a bit strange, but a lot of people, when they are clicking the down button on previous installs here, which is usually about there, to actually try and get down. Sometimes the down button here on the scroll bar, and they just accidentally click over to the off button. Again, it's not any kind of showstopper. Obviously there's no down button on this particular applications. Yeah, they've taken away the down button on the scroll bar here, which is, I don't know, like, I'm indifferent to that because I think dragging up and down is fine. It's always worth bearing in mind when designing, you know, UIs and stuff that you know, like my mouse and a lot of people's mice don't have scroll bars or anything like that, so we kind of still rely on the old you know, clicky method. It might seem like it's a little bit out of the way to do that, but it's not. It's because the trackball is significantly more precise, and it's easier to move your mouse from left to right over the screen. But yeah, but what you can do, of course, is you can remove that, and then the worst case, you know, that's fine. So yeah, like I say, that's me scrabbling for something. To say something negative about it, because I really do like it. I even like the aesthetics on it. Actually, it looks quite nice. But of course, you can theme it you can theme it as easily as you like. So yeah, and compared to Unity, this is fantastic. This is brilliant. I know it looks a little dated, and it kind of feels a little dated, but the thing is, we had it right. We've been doing it right. You know, we had it right 20 years ago. That's the thing. And I know that there is this kind of like feeling that we should try and change for the sake of change, and solve problems that might not even necessarily exist. But like I say, you know, LXDE knows the score. It knows that a solution is a solution, and a good solution is a good solution, regardless of what everyone else around it's doing. And I like the fact that it kind of keeps the clear head, both LXDE and Lubuntu on that one. One of the things, actually, when I was doing the Ubuntu Unity run through, and I also found this problem with GNOME as well, and I'll of course be going through GNOME over the coming days, is that there is a lot of user interface stuff where it involves you going from left to right to opposite sides of the screen in mouse movements. Now this is nothing to me because, again, I'm untrackable, but if you are on a mouse that you move, a regular old mouse, it's I don't know, it's just more inefficiency, it's more effort, it's more time, it's more precision required to actually move from the left to the right of the screen. And I can kind of understand why that, like, I can see why Unity wants to perhaps move to a more tablety based interface, and even, I guess, GNOME to a degree, or that's what at least it looks like. When it comes to desktop, you don't need to move your mouse a lot to get a menu going. That's perfect. That is, you know, that's all you need, right? How many clicks do you need? 1, 2, 3. No, actually, that wasn't even 3. That was... God, I can't even count now. I swear, I know most of the numbers. Right. 1, 2. There you go. That's all you need. We had it right. So, what I like about it, speed. It's no nonsense. It's easy to use. Does what it says on the tin. The software bundle is good, really. I'd like to see LibreOffice on there, but for reasons I previously explained, I can see why they wouldn't include it. The interface is perfectly customizable if you are into that kind of thing. I don't really customize the interface. I think I would get rid of the keyboard switcher, because of course I've only got the one keyboard, I only use the one language. Other than that, man, it's fantastic. I might have gotten rid of the pager settings just to use the keyboard shortcuts when necessary. But really, yeah, it's not changed barely at all since 6 months ago in the long-term support release. Why would it? It got it right then. There's no point in adding clutter to it now. Is this worth upgrading to? It depends how bleeding edge you want your software. To be honest, I've really kind of gotten into the habit of sticking on the long-term support releases for my main operating systems. I do like what Linux Mint are doing with it, but of course I'll cover that in a later video, where they seem to be getting the best of both worlds almost. But if you don't mind upgrading 6 monthly, and you like the latest and greatest software, this is probably the route that you want to go down, really, I think. And to be honest, all cards on the table. I would recommend new Linux users Lubuntu over Ubuntu 10 times out of 10. 10 times out of 10, it's more familiar, it's more comfortable, it's faster. When something says it's going to load, it loads. It's brilliant. So, you know, and like I say, there is this kind of like maxim that it's allegedly a little bit rough around the edges. It's allegedly a little bit more difficult to use, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. I find it easier to use than Unity. Alt F2, three keyboards, FIR, bang, it's up. Like, perfect. You don't need anything more. You don't need it, you know, it's great. So, yeah, a roaring success. It's as good as it always is. I hope they can work out that boot problem for the final release, so that I can actually show you what it would be like installed. Although, admittedly, it's probably like this. So that's about it from me today. Thank you very, very much for watching. Let me know what you think about your, what you think about Lubuntu, LXDE in general down in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to tweet to me up there. I'm getting quite a lot of comments on this channel these days, and it's getting increasingly difficult to respond and reply to as many of them as possible. I pretty much read them all, unless like they all come in at once, and sometimes it's kind of a little bit difficult. I try. But if you guys want to ask me any questions, or you guys want to just have a chat about Linux, I'm free. Well, I'm free most of the time, or I'm sort of at least in the mood to do it most of the time. So feel free to check out my Twitter and yeah, say hi. So that's about it from me today. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I've been Chris Ware, and you've been awesome. Take care now. So this is just the end slate, just to let you guys know what other kind of projects I'm working on. For those of you that don't know, I have a second channel where I do more informal, casual type stuff. And I also have a gaming channel, so if you guys are into that kind of stuff, you might want to check those out. Also, if you want to ask me any questions or just have a chat about whatever it is that I've been talking about in this video, feel free to check out my Twitter and my Tumblr as well. I spend a fair amount of time on them. Toodaloo.